We live in a world that moves too fast. Headlines scream of trouble, our screens glow with chaos, and though we're more connected than ever, we can feel alone. Yet in the rush, small acts of kindness, a smile, a helping hand, shine through. These moments don't make headlines, but they are sparks in the darkness, stitching us together. Perhaps being good is the only battle worth fighting. What if there is a hidden force at play in the world? Not a grand power, but a quiet, invisible current. Goodness flowing beneath our daily lives, connecting us all. It's the energy in a helping hand, a shared laugh, a moment of honesty. Every act of kindness adds to this current, rippling outwards, touching lives we'll never know. We are all part of this flow, woven together by the invisible current of shared humanity. Why do we bother being good when the world can feel so dark? The answer isn't simple. It's not just about reward or punishment, but something woven into us, a quiet instinct for connection. Every day, in small choices, we add to the world's light or its shadows. Goodness is not a single act, but a current we choose to join. Legends tell of mysterious guides, steering us through life's storms, often hidden in plain sight. A courier, rushing through his day, delivers a package to the wrong door. This mistake leads him to discover an elderly woman in need of help. Was it truly an error or a divine redirection, an unseen hand guiding him to save a life? Sometimes the echo of goodness comes from a simple, honest choice. A young boy finds a lost wallet and returns it, untouched, to a woman who had lost her savings. Moved by his honesty, she starts a fund to help children in his community. That single act of integrity grows into a movement, changing countless lives. The universe has a strange sense of humor. It often leads us on a grand chase for one treasure only to reveal another, far greater one that we were not even looking for. Think of a modern-day treasure hunter, a man obsessed with a single, legendary goal, finding a specific sunken ship laden with gold. He has spent years researching, poring over ancient maps, and investing all his resources into this one quest. Finally, with a precise map and the latest technology, he sets sail, his heart pounding with the thrill of imminent discovery. He is on the verge of realizing his life's dream, but as he sails into a remote, treacherous stretch of ocean, the unexpected happens. A sudden violent storm rolls in, and his advanced GPS system fails. The screens go blank. He is lost, adrift in a fury of wind and waves, his precious map now useless. Frustration and despair consume him. His dream is slipping away. All he can do is drop anchor to wait out the storm, feeling utterly defeated. He has failed. The treasure he so desperately sought is once again beyond his grasp, lost to the depths. He stares out at the churning water, his spirit as turbulent as the sea. As the storm subsides and the waters calm, he sits on the deck of his boat, stewing in his disappointment. His eyes drift aimlessly over the nearby coastline, a place he never intended to be. He notices a unique rock formation, something that seems out of place, almost unnatural. His curiosity, the very trait that made him a treasure hunter in the first place, is piqued. With nothing else to do, he puts on his diving gear and plunges into the water simply to explore. He is not looking for his shipwreck anymore. He's just passing the time, his great quest abandoned. Beneath the waves, he finds something astonishing. It is not the legendary ship of gold he was searching for. It is something far older, far more significant. He has stumbled upon a vast, perfectly preserved archaeological site, an ancient city swallowed by the sea. It is a priceless discovery that will rewrite the history of the entire region. His failure to find his intended target, his broken GPS, and the storm that threw him off course, led him to a treasure of far greater historical and cultural value. The universe denied him the fortune he wanted, only to give him the one humanity needed. These stories share a common shimmering thread. They suggest that some of life's most challenging detours, the moments that feel like failure or punishment, may actually be the work of a hidden grace. They are course corrections from a universe that sees a bigger map than we do. We set our sights on a destination convinced it is the only place we are meant to be. We crave success, a seamless journey, a life without wrong turns. We believe that a straight line is the best path forward, and we curse the obstacles that force us to stray from it. But the courier's mistake was not a failure, it was an appointment. The treasure hunter's broken equipment was not a setback, it was a redirection. These moments of disruption, which at the time felt like the end of the road, were in fact the beginning of a new one. They were invitations to look up, to pay attention, to see what else the world had to offer beyond our narrow field of vision. This is a difficult truth to embrace. It asks us to have faith when we feel lost. It asks us to find meaning in our mistakes and purpose in our pain. When we lose a job, when a relationship ends, when our carefully laid plans fall to pieces, our first instinct is to see it as a catastrophe. We mourn the future we had planned. We feel the sting of defeat. But what if these events are not endings but portals? What if they are life's way of saying, not this way? There is something better for you over here, something you cannot yet see. Perhaps the most profound spiritual journeys do not happen on a straight and easy path, but on the winding, broken, and unexpected detours. These are the places where we are stripped of our certainties and forced to rely on something deeper than our own plans. They challenge us, they humble us, and ultimately they transform us. They teach us that control is an illusion, and that the most beautiful destinations are often the ones we never intended to find. They are life's way of whispering that we are being guided, even and especially when we feel most lost. Life's detours and closed doors often feel like setbacks, but what if they're guiding us toward a hidden purpose? Sometimes the pain and frustration are woven into the very fabric of our growth. Only after the storm do we see the silver lining. These moments reveal our resilience and transform failure into wisdom. Perhaps in every wrong turn, there's a whisper guiding us toward our true purpose. If goodness flows so freely, why does darkness persist in the human heart? Sometimes the path to darkness is not paved with malice, but with a desperate, misguided love. Consider a man once known for his kindness, whose world crumbled when his child fell ill. Desperate, he crossed a line, believing it was the only way to save his child. His love, once pure, became a shadow, proving that even the brightest light can cast darkness. In our modern world, the shadows often take on a different, more seductive form. They promise not the salvation of a loved one, but the adoration of the masses. They whisper of quick fame and easy validation, offering a shortcut to a life that seems full of light and success. This is the darkness of the social media echo chamber, a world where authenticity is often traded for applause, and where a carefully crafted image can become a prison. The desire to be seen, to be liked, to be relevant, can become a hunger so powerful that it leads a person to build an empire on a foundation of lies. Imagine a young influencer scrolling through feeds filled with perfect lives and curated happiness. They crave that validation, that rush of digital affection that comes with every like and follow. They begin to meticulously craft a fake persona, an idealized version of themselves. They post pictures of a life they're not living, of a success they have not earned. They stage charity events, posing with props and actors, all for the perfect, heartwarming photo. The comments pour in, "You're an inspiration, you're changing the world," and with them, the money starts to flow. The illusion becomes profitable. But with every new post, every staged act of kindness, the hollowness inside grows deeper. The constant pressure to perform, to maintain the lie, is exhausting. They are trapped in a golden cage of their own making. The adoration they receive is not for them, but for the character they play. The money feels empty because it is earned through deception. They are surrounded by a million virtual followers, yet they have never felt more alone. The pursuit of easy fame, the very thing they thought would bring them happiness, has become their greatest torment, eroding their spirit day by day. Eventually, the weight of the deception becomes unbearable. The empire of likes feels like a tomb. In a moment of raw, painful clarity, they realize that the validation they truly crave is not from strangers, but from themselves. With a trembling hand, they go online one last time, not to post another fake photo but to confess everything. They choose the terrifying, uncertain path of authenticity over their hollow empire. They tear down their own prison, brick by brick, discovering that the shadow of fleeting fame is a poor substitute for the simple, quiet light of being true to oneself. Sometimes darkness is not born from desperate love or fame, but from a quieter poison, envy. It starts as a small, bitter seed but can grow, choking out everything good. A talented musician, once full of passion, watched his friend's brilliance and let jealousy consume him. In trying to dim another's light, he only poisoned his own soul, and the music was gone. Sometimes the universe twists malice into unexpected good. A ruthless industrialist poisons a rival's well, hoping to ruin him. The plan works, temporarily. The factory shuts down, and the industrialist is pleased. But a health official, investigating the contamination, discovers something strange. The poison, when mixed with the town's water, neutralizes a hidden toxin that had caused years of illness. The town's water is purified, and countless lives are saved, by accident. The industrialist is caught and imprisoned, his crime becoming an uncelebrated miracle. Sometimes even darkness can stumble into the light. These stories reveal a troubling truth. Darkness often grows from desperate attempts at goodness. The father who embezzled, the influencer who lied, the industrialist who poisoned, all were driven by motives that, at their core, began with love, fear, or hope. Desperation can twist noble intentions into harmful acts. When people feel trapped, their moral compass can break, and they justify darkness as a means to protect what they love. Understanding this doesn't excuse the harm, but it reveals the tragic journey behind each choice. The battle between good and evil is often fought within a single heart. The most dangerous shadows are those convinced they are the light. Darkness often begins with the belief in a single, all-powerful solution. Money, fame, revenge. Each character chased one thing, convinced it would fix everything. This obsession blinds us to other paths and deeper truths. The father's money brought only pain. The influencer's fame became a prison. The musician's victory silenced his own music. True peace isn't found in a single fix, but in connection, integrity, and compassion. The shadow promises shortcuts, but real healing is a slow, patient journey. There is no magic key, only 1,000 small, honest choices. The answer we chase is rarely the one we truly need. True change often begins with a single, quiet act of defiance. In a barren, drought-stricken land, one old man plants a tree every day. Neighbors mock him, calling his efforts futile. He persists, planting one seed at a time year after year. Slowly the impossible happens. Trees take root, shade appears, and the land begins to heal. His daily rebellion transforms the desert into a living forest. His legacy is not just the trees but the hope he inspired. Consistency, not charisma, moves mountains. One person's quiet rebellion can bring a desert back to life. Sometimes revolution is a gentle offering, a seed of hope in a place of scarcity. In a neglected city, a young woman turns her apartment into a secret library. At first, her neighbors scoff or ignore her. She persists, keeping her door open, her light on. Slowly, children come, then friends, and her library becomes a haven. Years later, her quiet act sparks a thriving community center. Her rebellion was for her neighbors, planting a seed of knowledge that grew into a garden for all. Building something beautiful is its own form of defiance. Rebellion can be silent, a single person's persistence against an unyielding system. A widow, denied survivors' benefits by a bureaucratic technicality, refuses to give up. Every day she mails the same application, undeterred by rejection. Her persistence becomes a problem for the officials, then a point of reflection. A new official investigates, overturns the rule, and changes policy for thousands. Her unspoken petition transforms the system. Sometimes the quietest protests echo the loudest. Change begins with one person who refuses to disappear. In a world of conformity, art is rebellion. Murals reclaim forgotten city corners, transforming blight into beauty. One artist's defiant creativity sparks a movement. Authorities erase the murals, but more appear. The city's people embrace the art, and soon, the city itself does too. One act of rebellion gave the city back its soul. These stories of quiet revolution raise a fundamental question about the human spirit. Why do we bother? Why does a person choose to rebel, to stand firm, to persist in an act of goodness even when the results are not guaranteed? The old man had no promise that his trees would survive the drought. The young woman had no assurance that anyone would read her books. The widow had no guarantee that her daily petition would ever be heard. The artist risked arrest and fines, with no certainty that their art would be appreciated. They all acted without a clear promise of victory. The answer lies in a deeper understanding of what victory truly means. In a world obsessed with outcomes, with measurable success and immediate results, these quiet revolutionaries operate on a different principle. They believe in the intrinsic value of the act itself. They plant the tree not because they are certain it will become a forest, but because planting a tree is a good and hopeful thing to do. They share their books not because they know it will build a community center, but because sharing knowledge is an act of love. Their rebellion is a statement of faith. This form of rebellion is a profound act of defiance against cynicism. Cynicism demands proof. It says, "Show me the results and then I will believe." Hope, on the other hand, acts first. It says, "I will act, and my action will be my belief." This is a quiet but powerful shift in perspective. It frees us from the paralysis of needing to know the outcome before we begin. It empowers us to act from our own core values, regardless of whether the world seems ready to reward us for it. It is a declaration that our principles are not for sale, not even for the price of guaranteed success. This is why we rebel even when victory is uncertain. We do it because it aligns our actions with our soul. We do it because it is how we keep our own inner light from going out in a world that can often feel dark. The old man planting trees was not just healing the land, he was healing his own spirit, refusing to surrender to despair. The act of fighting for good, of showing up day after day for what we believe in, is its own reward. It is a way of living that creates meaning in a world that can sometimes feel meaningless. In the end, perhaps we have been looking at it all wrong. We search for the grand finale, the moment the forest is fully grown or the law is officially changed. We see these as the moments of triumph. But the stories of these quiet revolutionaries suggest a different truth. They whisper that the victory is not found solely in the outcome, but is present in every single moment of the struggle. The real triumph is not the end of the story, it is the courage to begin it, and the persistence to continue it, one small act at a time. The act itself is the victory. The true miracle was not the forest, but the old man's unwavering hand, digging into the dry earth each morning. The triumph was not the community center, but the young woman's decision to keep her light on even when no one came to her door. The victory was not the policy change, but the widow's daily walk to the post office, her spirit unbent by rejection. The success was not the city's embrace of the art, but the artist's courage to paint on a blank wall in the dead of night. Each of these acts was a complete victory in itself, a perfect expression of hope and defiance. This is an empowering realization. It means that we do not have to wait for the world to change to experience a sense of victory over darkness. We can experience it every time we choose patience over anger, kindness over indifference, courage over fear. Every time we perform a small good act, we are winning a quiet battle. We are casting a vote for the kind of world we want to live in. We are siding with the invisible current of goodness, strengthening it with our own small contribution. We are, in that moment, revolutionaries. And so we must ask ourselves, what quiet revolution can we start today? It does not require a grand plan or a public stage. It can be as simple as planting a single seed of kindness, offering a book of knowledge from our own shelf, or refusing to accept a small injustice. The power lies not in the size of the act, but in the consistency of our heart. Because sometimes the act of fighting for good, of simply showing up for the light, is not just the means to an end. It is the greatest and most beautiful victory of all. We have journeyed through stories of light and shadow, of mistakes that become miracles and love that becomes ruin. Yet, even in darkness, goodness flows, woven into the fabric of our existence. The universe conspires in kindness, responding to every act, no matter how small. We are not just observers but co-creators, each choice a thread in this grand story. Align yourself with kindness, and join the universe in its quiet, powerful work. This conspiracy of kindness does not demand our perfection. The universe does not require us to be saints. It only asks that we be human, in all our messy, imperfect glory. Our wounds let the light in, and through those same cracks our light shines out to heal others. The universe is a master weaver, turning our darkest threads into a tapestry of surprising beauty. We do not need to be perfect to be part of the great unfolding of goodness. We just need to be willing. If the universe conspires in kindness, and even our flaws can serve a higher purpose, where does true change begin? It begins in the heart of an individual, one person choosing to act, to persist, to believe. The old man planting a single tree, the young woman opening her home as a library, the widow mailing one more form. True change begins with the quiet, unwavering resolve of a single human heart. This is the quiet revolution we are all invited to join. And so, we arrive at the end of our story, which is really just the beginning of yours. The unwritten chapter is your life. The tales of the courier, the widow, the artist, and the tree planter are not just stories to be heard, they are invitations to be answered. They pass the torch of possibility to you. The screen will go dark, the pages will end, but the invisible current of goodness will continue to flow, waiting for you to step into it. The universe is ready to conspire with you, to take your small gestures and magnify them in ways you may never see. The final question, then, is not a grand philosophical one, but a simple personal one. What hidden threads are you weaving in your own life? Look closely at your days. Where can you offer a kind word? Where can you practice patience? Where can you share what you have, whether it is a book, a smile, or a moment of your time? These are not trivial acts, these are the threads of miracles. You do not need to know where the thread leads, you only need to be willing to weave it into the fabric of your world. Do not wait for a perfect moment or a grand calling. The world does not need another celebrity philanthropist or a messianic leader nearly as much as it needs millions of ordinary people performing small acts of grace. It needs people who will pick up the trash on their street, who will listen without judgment to a friend in pain, who will stand up for someone being treated unfairly. This is the real work. This is the quiet revolution that will heal our fractured world from the inside out. Your life is your chance to contribute to this healing. And so, the story is now in your hands. The narrator falls silent, and your own inner voice must take over. Look at your life, at your community, at the world around you with new eyes. See the unseen currents, the hidden opportunities, the sacred potential in every single moment. Recognize the power that resides in your own unwavering heart. The universe is conspiring in kindness, waiting for your partnership. What threads will you weave today? And what miracle, small or large, seen or unseen, will you spark? The answer is yours to live.